Jericho, the first city on Earth. Part 3. The tower that shouldn't exist. In 1952, British archaeologist Kathleen Kenyon and her team were digging beneath the sands of Tell el-Zoltan. What they uncovered would shock the world. Beneath centuries of ruins and rubble lay something astonishing. A massive stone wall, and beside it, something even more mysterious. A tower, nearly 30 feet tall, built more than 10,000 years ago. It should not exist. This structure, now called the Tower of Jericho, is the oldest known monumental stone building on Earth. Built during the pre-pottery Neolithic period. This tower predates Stonehenge by 5,000 years, and the Egyptian pyramids by more than 6,000. It wasn't just tall, it was complex. The tower stands about 28 feet high and 33 feet wide at its base. Inside, a narrow stone staircase spirals upward, suggesting not just architectural planning, but engineering. Who built it? Why and how? No kings, no priests, no writing, no metal tools. At the time, the people of Jericho lived in mud brick roundhouses, farming in small plots, trading simple goods, and yet they moved hundreds of tons of stone. They carved out a deep trench, constructed a retaining wall nearly 6 feet thick, and then built this tower atop it. So what was it for? Scholars have debated this for decades. 3 main theories have emerged. The most obvious explanation: defense. Jericho's tower may have been a lookout, a place to scan for enemies or wild animals on the horizon. Paired with the surrounding wall, it could have served as an early fortification. But there's a problem. The wall doesn't fully surround the site. It protects one side, the slope facing the spring. Odd for a defensive structure. Some archaeologists believe the wall and tower were built to control flash floods coming down from the surrounding highlands. Jericho sits in a depression below sea level, and sudden rainfall in the Judean hills could have meant disaster. Perhaps a watch post to monitor water levels or initiate early warnings. In this view, the wall acted like a dam. The tower is possible. But then there's the third theory. What if it wasn't practical at all? It may have unified the people through shared effort and shared awe. What if it was symbolic, a place of ritual, of spiritual power? Humans were already thinking big. Some scholars believe the tower marked time itself, aligned with the shadow of a nearby mountain during the summer solstice sunset. Others say it may have been a communal gathering space, where ceremonies were held and the community's identity reinforced. Climbing the tower may have symbolized ascent to the heavens, to the ancestors, or to power. Kenyon called it a remarkable achievement, and she was right. Whatever its purpose, the Tower of Jericho proves something profound, that long before kings ruled or pyramids rose, a tower that touched the sky. Not for glory or conquest, but perhaps simply to say, without metal tools or beasts of burden. The builders of Jericho relied on sheer human will and ingenuity. They used stone picks and antler picks to carve the trench. They shaped limestone boulders by hand. They worked in teams. They planned. They imagined. This was the dawn of architecture. It's the birth of collective construction. In the beginning, there was Jericho. A city without kings, but with a tower. Her name was Kathleen Kenyon, and she was about to change everything we thought we knew about human history. We are here, and we will remain. But from burials, secrets in the soil, Kathleen Kenyon and the ancestors of Jericho, she cut deep, narrow trenches straight down through the mound, exposing each layer in sequence. Seashells were inserted for eyes, giving them an almost haunting gaze. In the 1950s, a woman in a wide-brimmed hat arrived at a dusty mound in the Jordan Valley. Tell el-Zoltan, the ancient heart of Jericho, had been excavated before, but no one had peeled back its layers the way Kenyon did. Armed with meticulous methodology and a revolutionary new approach, she saw not just ruins but time itself, layered like a cake beneath her feet. Kenyon's greatest contribution was her use of stratigraphy, a technique borrowed from geology. Her field notes, diagrams, and photographs remain a gold standard in archaeology today. Like pages in a book, the soil spoke. Every stratum telling a story of people who lived, died, rebuilt, and returned. And in Jericho, there were many such stories. One of the most striking revelations came not from buildings. Kenyon found that the people of ancient Jericho buried their dead beneath their homes, curled up in fetal positions, placed beneath floors of plaster. In some cases, the bodies were decapitated, their skulls removed after burial, and then something even more unusual happened. The skulls were reconstructed. Human faces modeled in plaster, carefully shaped with clay and pigment. These weren't just remains, they were memorials, kind of prehistoric portraiture. The deep trench she cut at Tellys Alton is still studied, still sampled, still revealing secrets. Who were these people? Ancestors? Community leaders? Shamans? She uncovered a dialogue with the dead, a way of life where memory lived in stone and plaster, and ancestors watched from beneath your floor. Some scholars believe they were revered figures, perhaps kept in homes, passed down through generations, used in ancestor worship or spiritual rituals. The people of Jericho didn't just bury their dead, they preserved them, honored them, perhaps even consulted them. Kathleen Kenyon documented these finds with extraordinary precision. She was rigorous, sometimes criticized for being too cautious in her interpretations, but her work rewrote the history of the Neolithic Levant. Before Kenyon, Jericho was often thought of mainly as the biblical city of Joshua, walls tumbling in divine triumph. But Kenyon showed that Jericho's story was much, much older. She uncovered evidence of continuous habitation dating back over 10,000 years, long before metal, writing, or even pottery. She pushed the timeline of urban development further back than anyone had imagined. The world she revealed was not primitive, but deeply symbolic, spiritually complex, and socially organized. People who remembered their dead, who shaped human faces out of the earth, who turned memory into ritual. Today, archaeologists still follow in her footsteps literally, and her stratigraphic method remains the foundation for how we explore ancient settlements across the globe. Kathleen Kenyon didn't just dig up bones. Through her eyes, we don't just see ruins, we see people. Through her work, Jericho is no longer just a place on a map. It's a window into the deep soul of human civilization. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.